We're making a new project called the News, and these are the settings. Please note 720p, 2997. This is not 23976. Input the media from the source browser. When we import the media is organized into folders, and you are done basically. So the next thing is to create sequences in advance, and I'm going to Shift-Command-N to create a new sequence, and I'll create 4 sequences. A, happy, B, sad, C, tense, and D, master. But what I want you to learn is how to combine 3 scenes into one master. So at the end of the day, you will have these 3 scenes built. But then what you'll do is put all 3 of these into the source monitor, and you will open this clip in the timeline to combine the 3 scenes. That's what I want you to do, is to learn how to combine the 3 scenes. But learning how to create these 3 sequences and create a separate master is part of the assignment. The purpose of this lesson is to learn how to do multicam editing in Avid Media Composer. We did this before, so what I want to do is to be able to identify what you're going to be creating group clips with, what are called group clips, a multicam clip. Wherever you have something that says A camera and you have a word and A camera that matches with the B cameras. With happy, we have, let's go back here, we have OTS end 1 and 2. That is not a separate camera. It appears that that's take 1 and take 2. Where it says camera A and camera B, we see close-up 5 here. We're just going to select both of these, right-click to group clips, go to the waveform analysis, and say OK. Notice now that we have a grouped clip. That is a multi-clip. Okay, so one process is to go through these. Now I found that on the final one, on the approach, we will do a different effect where we will put both of these into the source monitor. So there are 2 methods. One is to put an in mark where the slate closes. And you can joggle back on the right and left arrow keys to find the exact mark, hit the in mark. Once you have both marks selected on the A camera and the B camera at the closing of the slate, then what you'll do with these 2 clips is have them selected. So this is A camera and B camera. Make it 2, approach 2, 2, A, B. Right click, group clips, clip to the in point. Okay, so that's a separate way, and I think on that particular clip that would be helpful. Okay, so how do you edit with these? That's what we have to look at next. And we will go to we'll look at the interface with the source browser. What I want to do is to clear the menu, clear this menu. And from my bin, I'm going to put the group clips into the source browser, all of them. We also have master clips that you can put in here. These are single clips, they're not group clips. But when we go to the grouped clip, we will see that we have some group clips. We have, this is called a group 1. And what we can do here is we can do a little pre-editing so that we're going to actually put this into the timeline where we want it to start as a multi-clip. So right here I'm going to put an in mark. I'm going to put this into the timeline, splice in. I want it to go into the sequences. A happy. Okay, so going back to editing, there are several steps. First, we have to get this little quad split. It is not on your bar, so we're going to hit Command 3 and find it. You'll probably see this command palette coming up like this. And I'll zoom in a little bit so you can see. And what you're going to do is to go to Multicam, find the quad split, and drag it and put it onto your bar here. That will enable you to do the multicam editing. The next thing that you'll do is to go to your settings, go to your keyboard, English, or whichever keyboard you're opening, double click on the word keyboard here, and this will come up. And what you want to do is to do what's called map to your keyboard. So what I did was I mapped M1, this one, dragging it to this key, M2, dragging it to this key, so that I can toggle the multi-clip on my keyboard. Notice that they're already up here, but your keyboard might not be configured with all of these F keys. So it's good for you to map it to your keyboard. That way you can toggle toggle the edit. So now that I have this is where I want the multi-clip to start, I'm going to splice it into the timeline. And then when I bring up the multi-clip, it turns this into a multi-clippable item, okay? Okay, so this is it, the click on the quad split to get in and out of multicam mode. So what you could do is start, this is the approach, and notice that if I am now hitting the shift key, it's rolling, and I'm hitting my M and comma key to make edits. So he's coming in, and I want to click to the close-up. I hit the comma key. I might want to see him seeing her from a distance. There's a little bit of a problem there. So he walks over. And that's where the end of the shot happens. Okay, so that's fine. We can do some of the editing later. The next thing would be to get your next multi-clip into, so we have to figure out how to get out of this. To get out of this, you toggle here to go back to the edit mode, and you can pull down to your next, your close-ups. This is the other over the shoulder of the approach. You have the close-up group clip here, and so the next thing would be to have her reading, and you can cut in where you feel that that works in the timeline. Since it's not in the timeline yet, we're actually reading. This is in the timeline view. We'll go back to this view where you're going to be putting it in. You could figure that she's going to react when he approaches her. So let's figure out here where she might see him. And we will insert this multi-clip here. And we can excise this in the timeline by removing it in and out and hit the extract button. Okay, so now that she's here, we have this group clip. We want to go back into the multicam on this. And you will then use the multicam editing. You might wait until he's sort of in the shot. But anyway, you can edit out some of those details later. The idea is to click.
Oh, Joe, hi there.
I can't believe I ran into you here.
Oh, please sit.
And we can shift back to his view.
It's official. I got the news.
Oh, Joe, wow.
So I know.
I'm just clicking back and forth.
I'm so glad that you did. So, when you go?
This weekend.
Wow. Joe, just, wow. That's unbelievable, really.
Yeah. But you know, I really should go.
All right, you take care of yourself, okay?
I will. Thank you, sir.
I'll see ya.
Okay, so that's the shot. There's actually one more shot of him leaving, so you can put it in now. Creating these is actually relatively easy, so I would like you to create each sequence. You'll be creating each sequence and then making a master sequence. The idea here would be to take a screenshot of your process when you've got the multi-clip happening, and at each stage you'll take another screenshot. And now we'll go back to our bin. And so in the happy bin, there was the when he's leaving shot. So there's the approach, there's the close-up of the conversation, and the ending shot. So we did not make a group shot of this yet, so we want to group these clips. Actually, this is not grouped. Cancel. We're going to put both of these into the monitor and choose which shot we like the best for the ending. Those are not two camera shots, they're a single camera shot. So we can see the ending here, so we're going to find the end, and you figure out which take you like the best. And so he's going to, you can put the in mark, come down here, go to the end, and insert, you can basically splice in. Now the other thing is to use the music which comes with this, which is there's happy music. So you could put some titles, put the happy music. You'll have to, let's see what's going on here. This one came down because somehow that was a stereo track. So what we want to do is to put a new audio track, a new stereo track down below, and we're going to target this track, and we'll double click our music that's going to go in there and select the music, which is going to be the Sunny Sunday music. And that music can go in an overwrite. What you want to do is to, you want to target this track. Let's just see what, it's not allowing us to target the track. I think if we need to toggle into, I think we can be editing here. Okay, and get those out. And remove these. So what you want to do is to deselect these tracks. This gets targeted. It's not allowing me to target these tracks, but anyway, from this what you can do is just simply pull it down here. Okay, you're going to pull it. These are actually two mono tracks. So that's why it wouldn't select. It will select, so what we want to do is delete this track here. Delete this. Delete the track. You're going to select the track and delete the track. Let's click delete. Let's put this back up here. We want to delete this track. And I'm looking for deleting the track. We want to delete that track, so we're doing that. And this is the music. So now all of these tracks, so what we'll do is let's delete these tracks, delete and delete. Okay, now in order to add the music, what you want to do is to add two new audio tracks, and we're going to do two mono tracks, just because it seems that that is what this is. And we will target those tracks. Okay, with target, we'll target track 2 to 5 and 1 to 4. And we'll bring up, this is our music in the, and we will then, this is music in the source window, and we will then overwrite. We will deselect all of these tracks so that we do not overwrite, and we will put that music underneath. We can twirl down, we're twirling down to open up this panel. And so here you can use clip gain on this, and that's just kind of, you could bring it down so that it's the same. You can also use your audio mixer. There's another demo on that. And what you can do is you could cut this so that you just have an intro over your titles, and use your edit and delete, and maybe put some of this at the end as well. And so in other words, the music doesn't have to go over everything. Now there's one more thing that you could add to the audio track, which is the sound effects. We'll put two audio tracks here, and you can add sound effects of the cafe. So if you go into your sound effects window, you'll see that you have sound effects that you will drag in, double click to get it into the source monitor, We go back, and this can be, you want to make sure nothing else is selected, and overwrite. So basically you have, and what you'll want to do is to probably bring this down with clip gain to just bring that down to a minimum. And so that you just have a little background. You can bring it up as you wish, but anyway, this is background audio that can go into, this is background audio that can supplement if you have to make any hard cuts on your material. Once you have these edits here, if you deselect these tracks so that you're not affecting the audio track, you can change the in point and out point. To make any adjustments on your edit, you will use the double-sided trim, and then to get in and out of the trim mode, you will use the toggle between source record down below. We will click back to the monitor mode, so we will click back and forth between toggle, source record, and timeline. So this is our timeline. I want to see that you are working with the three sequences up here. Number one, that you know how to toggle between these. And then number two, that you're going to be putting all three of those sequences into the master sequence. That you'll open the master sequence and create the master with these three sequences put into the source browser. That's the whole point, or part of the point of the exercise. The other part is learning multicam editing. Okay, so after you complete this process, what you will do is to come back to your sequences bin, and you've created quick edits of each of these different sequences. You're going to go to your sequences bin, pull up the master. You will grab each of these and put them into the source window. First, you will clear the monitor, put these three sequences into the source monitor, and then you can toggle between these three and edit them into the timeline. This is how you combine scenes together. Okay, so the source media, maybe we'll mark it in here, master, and then put your titles over the entire sequence so that you would say you present, you could say the news, it could have happy, sad, and tense, and then edited by you, and then output. So what we're doing is we're putting an in mark here, and at the end an out mark. When we go to output, export to file, you will see that you have options, and the options say use marks. So I'm using the marks. I'm making sure that everything is enabled, that I have the top track here selected, and I say save. It tells me where I want to put this, which is in my exports bin. I'm going to call it the news, and it's exporting.